Now I will specifically talk about uh, the bad database design. So I have here the notes that I've written right now. So let's get started. But first of all, I need to mention that we use normalization that aims to create the redundant data and ensure that the data is stored logically. The first thing that I notice in this database is that here I see Nigar Kazımova and Nigar Hasanov in the same row. So this is not allowed, and this is a sign of bad design. Also, it happens in the grades section. I see that E and B, these should be the two different values in two different rows. Lastly, I want to say that repeating groups are not permitted in database. And I see in this table, Nigar Kazımova and Nigar Hasanov's grades are E and B. So this is repeating groups. We need to fix that. I think I already talked a lot about the database. Let's just implement this database into the first normal form. I will show it in this Excel file because it will be easier to show and edit all the uh, rows instead of just writing there and then try to fix it. So as you can see here, there is a repetition, there's repetition, and etc. Actually, it's not a single value. What I mean is this. So let's just try to insert here new one. Okay, I will not do the rest, but you got what my point. So I think we can finish this thing up here. And if I need to create a database, which let's create. Okay, since we're done with the first normal form, let's move to the second normal form. So the rule here is that each non-key attribute must depend on the entire primary key. In this case, we will have the course ID as our primary key, but we see that it is duplicated, which is not allowed if it's a primary key. And also, in this case, I see that course ID, course name, and professor are these datas are related, but enrolled student and its grade is another should be another table. So let's just create it. This is just a really massive representation in Excel file, but I'm sorry about that. I actually found my mistake, so let's go back to here. Actually, the course one is correct, but the student one, I see here the repetition, which I actually don't need in the student information. I don't need the course ID or grade because it is again related to the course. You can ask that why I am creating a new Okay, you can ask that why I'm creating a new primary key because it is like a lot better to create a student ID and to work with ID rather than the string like Nigar Kazımova. It's better to work with the student ID, creating a new uh, primary key. For that, you don't need to because enroll student is already only data. We can have it as a primary key. I mean, it can be enough, not just creating a new table, but in my opinion, it is very essential to have the student ID. So in the database section, I'm just going to say the student ID enrolled uh, student. And this should be enough.
Okay, I just need to refresh. Okay, I have the student data here. Now we can just insert a normal information to see that it's not empty. Okay, so I only need to create a new one, F001 and F002. Oh my god, I did a mistake. Okay, I'm done. Now let's create a second table and we're gonna be done. Start the record, slash update. Website key. Lastly, grade. I'm gonna insert some data. Okay, so it should be, let's say, I will come to the main section. So student ID is this one. Student ID should be, and lastly, the grade. Student.
Um, Hi. So today we will talk about the last normalization, uh, third normalization form. Uh, so so the current situation is that we actually completed the second form, and to move to the third form, we need to follow some points. So first of all, it shouldn't be transitive functionality dependency. What it means that if the column entity is dependent on any other than the key of the table, it means that transitive dependency exists. So what it means? Maybe right now the table is super simple, but if we look at the course table, we see that we see course name, professor. Which professor shouldn't be here? Let's say that in our course table we add so many data, such, let's say, start date, uh, let's say syllabus, and etc. Here's a professor. Yes, it is the core. It has a relationship with course, but it is better practice that we have a separate professor table where we see actually several professors that teach the same uh, course. So in order to do that, I'm showing in Excel, by the way. In order to do that, I will just create a new one, such let's say let's not say professor, but like instructor, because it can be instructor. And it is good to have instructor. Let's see, I'm gonna quickly, not quickly actually, it's better to ID and instructor name. Maybe we can separate the names even, such first name, second name, um, yeah, maybe some special information. Maybe in the future we will have the phone number, we will have the address, we will have the salary, and etc. So it is better practice that we separate the table. And in this case, I will actually I will not have the this table here. And in our last relationship, we can actually move. Okay, we can actually see the instructor ID, and it will be our relationship table. So in order to do that in the database, we first of all
need to create. I am just really tired. The create table is ID where we have, say, no, instructor table actually. We'll have, for example, I will not create it actually.
the only thing left is in the relationship. Okay, let me show it. Okay, in the relationship, we need to have the instructor ID. By the way, I don't know have I ever mentioned that the, the the primary key in relationship table is the student ID and the course ID together, because uh, I realized that when I tried to actually insert the table, but so if we want to have the unique one, it needs to be together. student ID and course ID together. But in this case, we can have a different, uh, let's say, instructor ID.
So yeah, what I was going to do is I come here and add a new column like alter. Actually, I need to. Yes, we will have the new instructor here, and also I think I also need to delete the instructor from the course. So let's just finally do that. I come here. Okay, I think I'm done with the normalization. If I need to quickly talk about, so I need to see the time. I have time. If I need to quickly
show everything, I can actually show an Excel file. So we have a course table which exists course ID, course name, and in the future we can add more column. And we have a student. By the way, in course table, the primary key is course ID itself. In the student one, we have student ID and student names. Actually, we can have also the first name and last name and extra information. And in this case, the primary key is student ID. We have instructor table where we have instructor ID, first name, second name, and in the future more data. And lastly, we have a relationship table where we have student ID, course ID, instructor ID, and the grade itself. Maybe in the future we will define the grade and, like, let's say A between 93 between 100. Then maybe in the future we need to create grade table separately. But I think for now it's enough. In this case, relationship table, the student ID and the course ID together, their primary key. And we can have different instructor ID and different grade when we have a unique primary key.